Welcome back to YCS Sydney 2019. We are here with the top 32. We're finally here, the pointy end of the event.
We made it. Well, it's like the home run for people. It's like a lot of them are on a clean slate. All their losses in Swiss, they just don't matter anymore. They're all fresh. Unfortunately for Jesse, his 10-0 record doesn't give him an advantage, but it's good for the players. They're all starting fresh.
Of course. So anyone who was just scraping in and then getting in there, having a few losses, it just doesn't matter anymore. Like, it's literally win or lose. This is it.
Yeah, we have a few favorites in Top Go. We have Jesse Cotton, first in Swiss 10-0 with Thunder Dragons.
From all the way from Canada.
Yep. We
Last
also,
minute flight.
Yeah.
Comes in, wins Swiss.
Coming in 28th in Swiss, South African, Alton Zhang. He's playing Trick Stars. We have a few from Asia. You have Koji that we saw on stream earlier playing Burning Abyss. You have Leo.
Was also on the stream.
Playing Altergas. Nathan Kosk, who lost last round, he sneaked in at 32nd, being the only person on X1-2
Wow.
to make
So
it
he'll
in.
be versing Jesse in the first round of
Yep.
top 32, which is why we can't put them on the feature match.
Yeah, because Kosk just had a feature match, and through popular demand, we have decided to put Jason Maher versus Janah Singer.
Yeah, both players were doing really well throughout the whole event. They were right at the top table. I think X1 for most of yesterday and all of today, obviously, finishing high up there. I think Jason may have lost one of his rounds to finish a bit lower, so that's why they're versing each other.
Jason playing an Invoke strategy using Thunder Dragons, whereas Janah, he's playing Altergeist. He's a deck that he's known to have piloted for a very long time. Again, we see players playing decks that they are very comfortable playing.
Yeah, it seems to be the whole motto of the weekend is play what you want to play, and play it well, and you'll do well, and that's what's shown so far today.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we have a that's
we
why
keep
we have a
going.
wide range of decks in the top cut. We have Thunder Dragons, we have Altergeist, Sky Striker, Pranked. We have one Rongo deck. We have 4 Trickstar decks. We have the one Invoke. We have 2 Burning Abyss, 1 Pendulum deck, and 1 Paleo deck.
So very interesting that at the start of the day we showed you a graphic where we had the top 64 decks or so from yesterday, all with a better than XT record, and we had like a good graphic of that, how the Thunder Dragon and Sky Striker had the most representation, and Altergeist just under that as normal.
All 3 Sky Striker players that were in top 64 made it, and one who was from the X2 bracket managed to climb in. That's crazy. The Rongo deck climbed in.
Looking at it now, Altergeist had 8 in the top 32, and before this they only had 10 in the top 64.
Yeah,
so they just kept winning.
Yeah. Whereas so we'll be able to give you an infographic towards the end of the match, but for now we're gonna cut to the match.
And there we have them, very focused.
Jason on the left and Janah is on the right.
So they came to life then when they knew the game was starting. Both in full focus mode, looking and staring each other down.
Janah rolling a 6 and Jason rolling a 5. I believe that symbol is a 1.
I believe it's 1. I'm not 100% sure.
So wish them best of both luck.
I think I seen impermanence in Jason's. So Jason is actually playing Invoked with a bit of a Thunder Dragon engine. We should have those deck lists shortly. I see also an Ash Blossom in his hand, so even though he lost the Dust Roll, he has a lot of good cards for going second.
Janah, on the other hand, playing an Altergeist strategy, has opened 4 spell or trap cards and 1 unknown card. He's deciding where he wants to set each card. He's got 1 card he wants to leave in hand. Could it be a monster? Could it be a hand trap? We don't have their deck list at this stage in time, but we will go with what we have.
Imagine if he played Denko Seka and just puts it straight on the field.
Jason opening hand of Thunder Dragon Raw, Thunder Dragon Matrix, a Thunder Dragon, and Ash Blossom.
So we're not seeing a lot of the Invoked engine that we know he plays. And Spoofing gets Ash Blossomed after he puts the card back to his deck. A very good start for Jason here. So Janah now has no cards left in hand after trying to put that Protocol back to add another card.
However, he still has 3 trap cards, which may be beneficial for him. He can still play it out this turn. He still have many options.
So we see the activation of Thunder Dragon to add 1 or maybe 2 Thunder Dragons from his deck to his hand.
Yep.
It might be different for his deck as he's not playing a pure Thunder Dragon deck. He's playing more of an Invoke deck.
He wants to get them both to the graveyard.
I think that potentially because he has the Fusion spell in hand. So he wants to load up his graveyard to be able to resolve its effects completely.
At this stage in time, we are not sure if Janah knows that Jason's also playing the Invoked card.
That's true. They may have sat near each other a few times during the rounds, but if they haven't, they may not know at all.
Hey, this gives Jason the element of surprise. It gives him more options. It means that the Secret Vigil spellcasters that are in Janah's deck aren't as effective because he does have Alistair the Invoker in his deck.
Which is a spellcaster.
Jason normal summons a Dragon Matrix, and Janah is contemplating whether or not he has a response.
So this Matrix can now be turned into a Colossus if Jason chooses to, since Thunder Dragon was activated in the hand. He still also has that infinite impermanence, which can now set into the same zone as one of his spell and traps. So he'll be able to negate it while also negating a possible monster effect if he draws into one next turn.
Really cool line where he sets it in front of personal spoofing, and then if Janah draws into an Altergeist card and he shuffles it back, there may be a chance where if there's a monster involved, he can negate the spoofing.
Yeah, because like you said, he has to have Janah has to have a monster on field to be able to activate legally the Infinite Impermanence.
Indeed, he makes Colossus immediately. He will be able to use Matrix's effect to search, whereas Janah is thinking about whether or not that should be able to resolve.
So he's going to resolve the Matrix effect. The big thing here is that with Janah having any monsters as presence, he's very open to some direct attacks.
Yes.
And so until he does draw out of that, Jason can just use as little resources as possible to do as much damage as he can.
Yeah, that's the problem we've seen with Altergeist like these past 2 days, where they just sometimes don't have enough monsters to play.
But Jason is playing more aggressively here, using the Raw to banish the Colossus and the Raw to summon a Titan from the extra deck.
This will trigger Raw's effect.
So he's going to activate the effect, and Janah now thinking it over if he wants to respond.
He's probably has something. He's just
and Solemn Warning comes down on the Titan, but the upside for Jason here is that the Thunder Dragon Raw will resolve its effect and be able to summon Dark from the potentially Dragon Dark from the deck.
Oh.
And that's another 2,000 life points for Janah as well. And that, unfortunately, this Dark can also be turned into a Colossus, so that's a lot of damage.
Yeah. And Altergeist do struggle to find that bit of damage here and there. They don't have much push. They need a damage over multiple turns.
Oh, and Jason is going for the Thunder Dragon Fusion that he opened, which allows him to summon a potential second Titan by the looks of it.
Yes, indeed. Or
he's going for the Thunder Dragon, which means that Titan will be able to start picking off that back row if it resolves.
Yes.
Very strong here. And also, another thing with that Dragon Dark being summoned to the field off a Raw, if he decides to, he can let that come to his hand to be able to use it during his opponent's turn, so Titan will be live again.
Jason knowing how to play his deck very well here.
So a 3,200 monster, Thunder Dragon Titan on the field. Jason put Thunder Dragon back into his deck now. He's got a Matrix in hand. That Dark will potentially go back to his hand as well. He's now activating Thunder Dragon's effect, so forcing Janah to either respond, or this Titan is going to start doing some serious damage to the face-down spell and traps.
Even if he does respond, that's what Thunder Dragon Titan wants to do. It wants to be able to pick apart cards.
So that's an impermanence gone without getting much value at all, like you said.
Fine, forcing it to activate is just as good as destroying it, isn't it?
Yep, and now he saves the other Thunder Dragon in his deck for next turn if it lives again.
Yeah.
So really strong opening for Jason here. After a subpar opening, I would say, from Janah. And he set that impermanence in the zone with the other face down.
I think he's about to declare an attack, right? Push for 3,200 damage.
Or maybe he's deciding not to attack and playing a bit more conservatively.
He did declare an attack.
Oh, so he did declare the attack, sorry. It must have been a verbal confirmation.
Janah drawing a card for turn. He's able to keep poke phase. We're not sure.
It's another trap card. And
I think it's an impermanent.
In the standby phase, Titan will have a chance to activate here if the Matrix happens, and I think Janah has conceded to that, so he doesn't give away any more information.
Not opening a monster has hurt Janah a lot.
It's a really good start there from Jason Maher, all the way from Queensland. Versus Janah, who I believe is from...
He's from Sydney. He's a local. He's a fan. He's a local favorite. He's an online favorite. I do hope that Janah takes it home. Unfortunately,
I've got to go for Queensland from my state of origin, coming to YCS Sydney in ANZ Stadium.
I go the Blues. Oh, he's wearing blue and Jason's wearing maroon.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
This was all destiny.
Yeah.
So interesting. We can't really look at the side deck, unfortunately, because again we don't have the deck list yet.
I can see Jason just putting in the twin twisters, putting in the evenly matched. He knows how to play his matchup. I think he's also got the edge where he still hasn't revealed any invoked cards that we know he plays. He's playing a heavy invoked engine.
So, just looking at their side deck, again, like most side decks for decks like Jason's, will be playing stuff like Twin Twister, as we said, so that will come in definitely against Altergeist. I'll be interested to see what Janah's going to do here. As Altergeist is said to have a good matchup against Thunder Dragon, but again, I don't think he knows about the invoked cards that are in Jason's deck. So looking at the side deck real quick now, as we have the deck list. Not sure.
Right, so wait, I'll look at Janah's one. He has 3 evenly matched, 3 Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherry. He has 3 Artifact Lances. That deck hurts both engines and Jason's deck a lot. It might be a huge factor in this post side. And he also has Trap Trick, which allows him to access any trap card he wants. That's really powerful.
So looking at Jason's side deck now, he has Book of Eclipse, which won't probably not come in. He has 3 copies of Red Reboot and 3 copies of Evenly Matched as well.
Yeah.
This is absolutely insane. So if Janah chooses to go first here, again, he doesn't know that Jason's playing the Invoked engine, which is a very good going second engine.
Yes, indeed. So, but with the Red Reboot, if Janah foresees that coming in, he could have the Artifact Lancia as backup, as that does not get stopped by Red Reboot. It doesn't get stopped by Evenly Matched. It'll help him come back into the game.
Most definitely. So looking at, since we didn't have the main decks before, looking at Jason's main deck, he does play the 3 Alistair Invoker, 2 copies of Invocation, 2 copies of Magical Meltdown, only with the 1 Terraforming, so he's probably trying to streamline that part of his deck. He has a really he has the Brilliant Fusion engine, which can access a lot of things as well to give him lights in the graveyard to be able to access to be able to use the fusion effects. His extra deck, he has 3 Colossus, 2 Titan as normal, 1 Summoner, and the invoked engine is 1 of Caliga, the Dark attribute, 2 Mechaba, 1 Rajin, and 1 of the Link, and also the Borrelo Dragon, the boss monster of the weekend that we have seen. So we have to see a 1-for-1 in Janah's hand here. This time Jason has actually opened up his Alistair as well, so this would be very interesting.
Oh, we see that Janah did side in the Artifact Lancia, but he's discarding it.
Unfortunately, it was the only monster in his hand, I think, so he was forced to if he's going to resolve the 1-for-1 effect.
But it's good that Jason knows that there is a Lancia, so that there might be more. Is that a Chanbara in the extra deck? Crazy.
I just noticed something as well, that Jason has the evenly matched in his hand.
Oh,
so this could potentially get very, very rough, considering he just discarded the Lancia, which would be able to stop the evenly matched from resolving.
Well, yeah. With Altergeist, they're able to still activate a trap in response to the evenly match, and then after everything gets banished, he can still summon the Multi-Faker from his hand, and that can summon Silcoidus or Melusuk like we've seen, and then they can still play. It's not like it's completely they're not completely out of the match at that point.
Yeah, they always have a backup plan. So he's setting 3. So Jason should be looking at this, licking his lips, thinking, here we go, I've got the evenly matched. It's all going well. I've got the Alistair for a follow-up. He's got a Thunder Dragon card in hand. Drawing for turn. He's going to go through the phases now and essentially enter that battle phase, and which will trigger Janah to probably force to be activated a lot of his face downs.
Does Janah play Mind Crush? He does not play Mind Crush, so there will be no Mind Crush on the...
I think Jason also has a Twin Twister.
Oh, this is huge. I'm not sure which phase this is being used, but...
I think he may have... potentially he could have...
Metaverse. Oh, Janah's going all in.
So he's going to chain deck Ash Blossom to stop that Metaverse from coming down. Interesting that he held the Ash Blossom for the Melody, just maybe for this situation. Maybe he foresaw this being a problem. And the Solemn Strike comes down and stops the Ash Blossom from being able to stop the Metaverse. So maybe predicting that Jason's hand is very spell relevant, but like, as we know, there's an Alistair Invoker in his hand.
But there is an evenly match, and now there is when on evenly match's activation, there is no way for Janah to activate a trap card to trigger the Multi-Faker.
So if he activates Multi-Faker now, this could get I don't know.
He won't be able to keep a magician. He won't be able to keep a magician and
a spellcaster.
Yeah.
And he's activating that Multi-Faker, so he's committing everything he has to this board, and little does he know, Jason has an evenly matched in his hand.
This match is intense.
And he's looking at that Artifact Lancia in his deck, probably thinking after this, he's maybe going to be thinking, maybe I should have held on to that.
Yeah.
Maybe he shouldn't have.
But if he didn't, he would have had
no plays. So he's probably correct, but it's just unfortunate this is happening. So Jason now has 5 cards left in hand. And they are talking about
Judge
something.
has taken Janah's deck. Anyway, we'll talk about other matches in the top card. We have a lot of...
Yeah, so while they sort that one out, we'll just... so, again, we can go through the deck again, because I haven't really gone through it, because we haven't had it.
the extra deck of Janah.
Well, we saw a Chambara, so...
Yeah, we saw a Chambara.
What's going on
wild.
there?
I see here a lot of Winter Cherry target. There's Dante, there's Prankid's Doodle Doo, there's Isolde, there's ABC Buster Dragon, there's Saryuja. I mean, you could even summon Saryuja, but I don't see that happening very often. I think that's for the Slash Draw deck that we've been seeing.
Possibly. Does he play Reaper? So that could be very interesting.
Yeah.
So we have in the main deck for Jason, as we mentioned, he does have the Alistair, but he also has the Batteryman Solars at 2, so to increase his Thunder Dragon strategy. But he also I don't think he plays the Seraph Knight. So looking at this, he only plays the Prismora for the Brilliant Fusion.
He does not play Seraph Knight.
So if he could potentially draw multiple normal summons, so obviously he's not worried about that if he's still playing the 5 normal summons.
Yep.
He has 2 instant fusion, so he can access both Rajin if he needs to, or Caliga to be able to turn off monster effects.
He's able to... He also has 2 copies of Invocation along with his... he does not play Thunder Dragon Fusion. Oh, he plays
2 Thunder Dragon Fusion. 3 Gold Sark as well.
2 Invocation. He has a lot of fusion spells going for him. He fit this all in 41 cards. Crazy.
This is intense. So looking at Janah, is there anything interesting in the main deck as well? That's different.
There's 1-for-1, which a card that people elect not to play in case the deck gets Ash Blossom and you just gave away a monster. And normally if you already have a monster, your deck usually is fine. Or like you have the situation where he had just then where he had to get rid of a very key monster in that matchup. So a lot of people elected not to play that, but he felt that it's very necessary in his strategy.
So do we have that breakdown again for the top 32? Which hopefully we should have the a graphic for it soon. But we're just gonna have a look at a couple of the other decks that could be in there. Cause I know we have a lot of one-off decks.
We have one Paleo. It's not the one we streamed earlier, but
so very interesting to see Paleo still doing well. Obviously with a lot of Altergeist in the top 32 as well. That means Paleo probably had some matchups against those decks, which normally does favor that.
The prank kid guy that we wish the best of luck. He
yes.
did not drop a single match. He had 2 draws, and 8 wins, and he cruised into top cut at 5th place.
Undefeated Prank Kids. Very impressive, following up where Prank Kids left off in Milan, winning the event. He just doesn't want to lose.
Yeah, he just knows his deck well.
We also have 2 Burning Abyss decks right up the top. They're in the top 8 even in the Swiss round, so they obviously did very well.
Yeah, there's Koji, who just who
was on
we streamed
feature.
earlier, and there's Gabriel Rodriguez right under him. They probably piloted their deck well, knowing that there was going to be a lot of striker, a lot of alter guys, and they built their deck to beat those decks, and they came out on
I
top.
wonder if they versed each other at any point, or if they just sat near each other a lot of the time.
Ooh,
Burning Abyss mirror match would be interesting if we get to that point of the event.
Last one of us could be in the finals, maybe.
Imagine that. It could be. Very possibly.
Yeah.
What other different decks do we have?
There's a 4 Trickstar Sky Striker, as we said, a very powerful engine.
That's a surprise to me. I'm not sure how Trickstar has a really rough matchup against the Thunder Dragon Colossus, and like obviously they play cards like Mind Control and Impermanence.
I do believe
to be able to handle that.
I do believe a lot of people like wrote that deck off. They're like, no, Trickstar's not strong enough. And here we see them, 4 out of 32. That's 1/8 of the top cut. That's crazy.
So also we have in there a Pendulum deck, which we haven't seen much since Electromite got limited. We saw it on the feature before, and unfortunately it didn't do as well as it would have liked.
Oh.
So also now we're seeing here the top 32 playing it out.
Chris Matisky I think his match is finished. We had him on stream earlier for an interview. We have Chops raising his hand. Is probably a judge course.
So we've got a lot of our featured players actually still out there now. You can probably see
Isaac walking off. He looks a little disappointed. Maybe that's his poker face.
Maybe it's see Nathan Kosk in the bottom left corner there versus Canadian Jesse Cotton in their top 32 match. We see Cameron the Prank Kids in the very bottom left. We have Joshua NG playing Pendulum against Chops. As we saw, we have Bowden has his back to us right behind the judge there. You probably can't see him right now. We have Lincoln Johnson, who we just featured as well, up near the back there on the back left corner.
Yeah, you have
the tables.
You have Honor that we featured earlier playing against what was his name? I just missed his name on the standings. Matisky's walking away. I think that might just be his cue to have accepted defeat. I think it's whoever sticks around is probably the one that won, right? Because they were a little more excited than the people that are lost.
Normally, but sometimes the person just he's shaking his head walking away, so maybe not.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate.
He's shaking hands though, so
he's done well. He's made it in.
He hasn't played for quite a while, as I'm aware. So Chris coming back into the game, a very established player.
Very
actually,
seasoned.
was the man you defeated in 2016, 2015 YCS.
2016, yeah, I beat him. I defeated him in the finals. But he's been to Worlds. He went to Worlds in 2013 Dragon Ruler format. He is very established. Everyone knows him. And he's done pretty well at YCS. I believe this would be his 4th or 5th YCS top.
Very good. So we have Peter Mitro, as he likes to be called, down there in the yellow shirt in the bottom as well.
Straight from Greek. Yeah. He's also established. He won 2014 YCS with Artifact Shadows. Good meta call at the time. He built his deck to beat the competition, and he came out on top. Playing against the Adelaide player Alex Berlamont, playing Thunder Dragon. And Altergeist is said to be favored against Thunder Dragon.
I've seen it a lot, but I've also heard a lot of Thunder. Well, this is the funny part. You talk a lot of Thunder Dragon players, like, oh, what's your matchup? He goes, I easily beat Altergeist. It's an easy matchup. Then you talk to Altergeist, like, oh yeah, Thunder Dragon's an easy matchup. It's like, I don't think either one knows which one's good or which one's bad. It just proves this format that every deck can be good. And like you keep saying, if you're comfortable with the deck you're playing and you play it well, then you're going to have success.
I think.
We also have another Queenslander here, Chris Whitehead. Hard to point out where he is, but he's the only other player playing Rongo in the top 32, so he could potentially just fly his way through the wins.
Yeah, definitely. Top right corner, do we know who are in the red and blue shirt? Red shirt is Koji. He's playing Burning Abyss.
So who will he be versing? I think we can figure out the pairings.
Koji will be playing 27th, who is Nicholas Mercury, Paleozoics. That's a very tough matchup.
Burning Abyss versus Paleozoics.
Blast from the past.
How'd we miss that one? How's our South African friend doing?
South African Elton, where would he be? Maybe his match. Elton's in blue shirt down here. He's playing against.
He's versing the Prank Kids, Cameron from our feature match earlier. So that's another interesting matchup. Trickster versus Prank Kids.
Yep.
Chris Whitehead, who is he up against over there?
Chris Whitehead is 9th in Swiss. He plays against 24th Alex Anastopoulos. Another player from Sydney. He's playing Sky Striker. That's
another interesting matchup as usual. And then next to them is Liam DeBono playing his opponent. So Liam was obviously on Sky Striker.
And Lewis over there, he's playing Altergeist. Another matchup we've seen.
Standard matchup as we predicted to be in this matchup.
Both of those matchups are pretty 50-50. Both decks can build to beat each other. Sky Striker and Altergeist, they're playing a tug of war. Like
I noticed talking to Leo in our interview as well that he mentioned it's kind of a triangle format, but not like a usual triangle format where one deck beats the other. I think it's more of like all the decks can beat each other and themselves. Like
and they just build for each other. And like Alex next door, Sky Striker versus Rongo, it's not like you've immediately lost if you get Rongoed. You can play out of it. You can set cards.
in
You can
2
widow
turns, you
anchor.
can widow anchor, and then the
Yeah.
Rongo is in your control, or at
Yeah.
least negated, so you can
Yeah.
play the game. And we have Lincoln Johnson over there. He's playing his Sky Striker deck up against, who is he up against?
Lincoln is against Stephen Medhurst. He is also on Sky Striker. Stephen
Ooh.
Medhurst being a local from Liverpool, not too far away from here.
So looking at it, there's a lot of Sydney players out there and from New
Yeah.
South Wales and the areas. We've got about 2 or 3 Queenslanders,
we have
I believe.
3 people from Adelaide. We have one person from Western
I
Australia.
believe Nathan might be the only one. There might be others out there. I'm not 100% sure.
No one from Hobart.
So we're just getting told now
That due to procedural errors,
Jason will be awarded the win. Unfortunately, we're not fully aware of the situation there, but Jason Maher, the Invoke player, is the winner of the feature match.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we can't keep going on that one. We'll find out later about that. That's more of the judge's job, not ours. But hopefully we're potentially looking to try and maybe get another feature match.
Yep.
But for now, we'll leave you to it. And if we don't see you for another feature match, we'll see you for top 16.
We'll also have the deck breakdowns as soon as we can get that up.
Yep. That should be good.